Hello and welcome grade 12 mindsetters to today's Thursday afternoon maths literacy lesson. We're here today with Peter. Peter, how are you doing?
I'm good, eh? Absolutely wonderful. Welcome, folk. It's great to have you in your living room again, all right? It's Thursday. Thursday means two things. Number one, as our dear colleague back yonder says, it means it's quarter to Friday. And most important of all, it's in time for another episode of Maths Literacy.
So guys, before we get away to our lesson, remember all the notes for today's lesson can be found on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/learn extra with an X. And all the notes can be found on there, as well as the test yourself question, where you can walk away with this brand new Casio Calculator. All you have to do is answer that test yourself question, and you could win yourself a new calculator. So guys, without further ado, let's get on with it, Peter.
Right, folk. I'm excited about today's show for two reasons. First of all, last week we started looking at this whole concept of tax and taxation. Okay? This week, we're going to take that and we're going to just do one or two more little examples on tax. And then, secondly, we're going to look at a topic which I'm extremely excited about, and that's the topic of exchange rates. So, for example, when you exchange money. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking to yourself. You're sitting there saying to yourself, why is he excited about exchange rates? Well, it's quite simple. Because this Sunday, I'm off on my way to America to do some mathematical literacy research, and I'll be gone there for 4 weeks, and I think John will be standing in my place over the next 4 Thursdays. Okay, so we're going to look at those exchange rates, and I'm going to share some of my real-life practical examples with you when I went to exchange some money. Okay, first of all, let's have a look at the tax. Now, just from last week, folk, so first of all, like I said, in this lesson, we're revising and doing questions relating to tax, or VAT, tax tables, and personal tax. We're going to introduce and do questions relating to monthly deduction tables, exchange rates, as well as costs involved with exchanging those rates. Our challenge question for today is this. Scott wants to exchange 5,000 Rand into US dollars. He discovers that the exchange rate, or the exchange bureau, charges 1.3% commission fees over and above the exchange rate of $1 is equal to 10 Rand 80. Scott does not have any extra money to pay for the commission fees, and so his 5,000 Rand must include the 1.3% commission. Bearing in mind that the Exchange Bureau does not give coins, determine how many dollars Scott can get for his 5,000 Rand. All right, so this challenge question is actually based on a real-life situation, and that real-life situation is me. So off I went last week to get, or rather earlier this week, to go and get a few dollars, right? Because going to America, you got to have dollars. So off I went. And I was horrified to understand, or to learn, that not only do you have to pay for the dollars, but you've got to pay the bank something called a commission fee, right? And the commission fee is that fee that the bank charges or an exchange bureau charges you for using their service. So if I were to walk in the bank with 5,000 Rand and say, here's my money, I want 5,000 Rand's worth of dollars. The bank teller turns around to me and says, well, does this 5,000 Rand include your commission, or must I add that on afterwards? And I'm like, what? I don't have any more money. I just got 5,000 Rand. So include the commission. So how many dollars would I have got? And how could I calculate that? Because obviously when I went home, right? Being a maths lit teacher, I wanted to make sure I wasn't done in with any money and that they gave me the right amount of money. And that's what this challenge question is all about right now. Okay, let's look at today's lesson. So in today's lesson, I'm just going to skim over this because we looked at some of it last week. But one salary can be broken into 3 categories: a gross salary, a taxable salary, and then, of course, a net salary. Okay, then tax rebate. A tax rebate is the amount that is deducted from the initial calculated tax amount. And then an exchange bureau charges a commission fee for exchanging foreign currency. This fee varies depending on who you're going to use or go to exchange the money. Okay, first thing, let's start with a nice basic paper one type question. Okay, so we get all different types of tax, but a tax that you will come across almost on a daily occurrence, almost daily, you will have to pay something called value added tax, or known as VAT. And in South Africa, our VAT stands at 14%. This means that for any luxury item, you've got to pay tax on that item. Now, what do I mean by luxury item? Well, the government have classified all goods that we can buy into two categories. Category A states this, that these are items that are a necessity. In other words, maize meal, rice, brown bread. You have to have those to survive. Then we get luxury items, okay, like white bread or like chocolate, okay? Oh, chocolate's a luxury. Okay, but you gotta have it, and if you have it, you gotta pay 14% VAT on it, right? So let's have a look at this question. A purple mindset shirt. I kid you not. Have a look at it. This very shirt. All right. Camera on me? No. Yes. Yep. Okay. This very shirt, mindset shirt, comes in purple. Right. This shirt is valued at 150 Rand before the 14% VAT is added. Now, how much VAT must be added? Guys, this is a beautiful paper one question. It is so simple. It is so basic. It's wonderful. Lloyd, did you do maths or maths literacy at school?
I did maths.
Absolute waste of time, isn't it, folks? When last did you use trigonometry? When did you finish school?
In 2011.
2011. So you're still a latte, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And when last have you used trigonometry?
I haven't.
Okay, you see what I mean? I mean, how pathetic is that? All right? Hasn't used the stuff you learned in maths. But if I had to say to you, when last did you pay VAT on something, you would say?
Today.
Absolutely. Because, guys, maths lit we use every single day. Okay. So standing here, my heart goes out in absolute sympathy for people like Lloyd who didn't do mathematical literacy. Okay? Let's go. So here's this purple shirt, 14%. How much is the VAT going to cost me on this? Well, it's quite simple, isn't it? All we're going to do is we're going to find 14% of 150 Rand. And it's straightforward, and we did one like this last week, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But all we're going to do is we're going to say, right, 150 Rand times 14%. Now, folk, on your calculator, 14% is percent over 100. So we can write it as 14 over 100, or we can write it as 14, and on your calculator, there's a percent sign. Look what I mean, okay? So times 14, and here's my percent. Shift percent. And it'll give me my answer of 21. 21 what? 21 Rand. Why 21 Rand? Because I'm dealing with rands. Now the next question says, well, what will the shirt cost after the VAT is added? Well, if the shirt was 150 Rand, and we're going to add 21 Rand to that, obviously my shirt is now going to cost me 171 Rand. That's right, folks. If you want to go out there and buy a purple mindset shirt like this, it'll only cost you 171 Rand. What a bargain. Bad news is you can't buy it. It's only for the, what do we call ourselves? Elite. The privileged few who can own a purple mindset shirt like this. I've had mine now for 4 years, and I'm really proud of it. Okay, it used to be a lovely glowing purple, now it's just a dull purple. Right, let's move on. Next question. A calculator is advertised at 125 Rand 40, inclusive of the 14% VAT. what was the cost of the calculator before the VAT was added? Okay, so we've got a Casio calculator here, absolutely wonderful thing. And there's a competition today, isn't there?
Yeah,
Was the
you can-
competition gone?
No, you can win that Casio calculator still, yeah, guys.
Oh, yeah, okay, so you can win this Casio calculator. So this Casio calculator goes for 125 Rand and 40 cents at a shop down the road, which I'm not allowed to say, otherwise it's free advertising and we get into trouble. But at Pick n Pay, you can buy this for 125 Rand and 40 cents. Right, but understand something. That when the shopkeeper takes the 125 Rand 40 from you over the till, he doesn't give the 125 Rand 40 over to Casio. Not at all. Some of the money goes to Casio, but some of the money goes to the taxman. Right. And in fact, last week, you missed our show last week. I don't know what you were doing. Probably
Learning maths.
learning maths, something useless like that. Okay. But last week, we said that we have no idea why they call the tax company or the tax department a man. Tax man. Okay. I have no idea. Right. And we decided last week to call it a tax woman because they always take your money. Right. So, tax woman comes along and she says, I want my 14%, please. So, this question asks us here, how much or what was the cost of the calculator before the VAT was added? Right. Now, we looked at this last week. We've had so many people write in and say, oi, do this again. So, we're going to do this again. Guys, if I'm adding VAT, cool. Let's go back to this first question. If I want to know how much will the shirt cost after the VAT is added, I could take the shirt price of 150 Rand and multiply it by this fraction, 114 over 100. And that will give me my final amount. Let's have a look at it. Let's just prove it quickly. 150 Rand multiplied by 114 over 100, and we get an answer of 171 Rand. So, instead of working out, first of all, what is just the VAT amount, and then taking the VAT and adding it to the shirt, I could actually just say, well, the price of the shirt multiplied by this magic, wonderful fraction, 114 over 100. If I want to know what was the price before the VAT was added, then I'm going to take that same wonderful fraction of 114 over 100, but I'm going to invert it. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So here it is. Okay, we got our Casio calculator. It cost 125 Rand 40 with the VAT. We're now going to multiply it by 100 over 114. Okay, so we're now going to say, right, I've got 125 Rand. I'm multiplying it by 100 over 114 and not 114 over 100. Because if I were to multiply it by 114 over 100, means I'm adding tax. By doing it the other way means I'm taking the tax away. Okay, so equals, voila, and there's my answer, 100 and... Did I get the right price of the 125 Rand 40 cents? Oi, let's do that again. 125 Rand 40 cents was the calculator. We're going to multiply it by 100 over 114, and my answer is 110 Rand. So this calculator, here it is here. This calculator actually cost 110 Rand and 110 Rand. Okay, 110 Rand perfectly. That's what it cost. Pick n Pay come along and say, oi, we got to add VAT here because we've got to pay the tax man some money. So they calculate 14% of the 110 Rand, get an answer of 125 Rand 40, and voila, there it stands on the shop shelf with a price saying only, special price today, only 125 Rand and 40 cents. You come along, you buy the calculator, you say, cool, I got this. Pick n Pay say, cool, we got some money, but we can't take all the 125 Rand. We're only going to take 110 Rand. The other bit of money we're going to give to the tax man. Okay? That's kind of cool. Right. Let's see if we've got time for one more question. You know what, I think maybe now, because the question I'm going to look at now gets kind of detailed and gets kind of really like, wow, what on earth's going on? So maybe, I know we got like 52 seconds, but maybe we should take an ad break, unless you want to talk to everyone for
guys,
52 seconds.
Well, you guys can save yourself actually 110 Rand or 125 Rand 40 in your case, and you could be winning this calculator. All you have to do is answer the test yourself question on our Facebook page, enter the curio code, which can be found on our Facebook page, and you could win this calculator, as 2 people have already done today. And at the end of today's program, we'll be giving away another one. So guys, don't go away. We'll be back right after this break. Welcome back, grade 12 maths literacy learners. I hope you guys have been enjoying the lesson so far. I hope you guys took a quick break, but you aren't too distracted. Hopefully we'll get back to learning quite heavily here. Let's get back to the VAT, guys.
All right, guys, we finished with that now. You've missed that whole lesson already, Lloyd. Guys, you've got to excuse Lloyd. He did maths course, so it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't know what's going on in real life. Okay, folks, we are now going to look. Last week we looked at something called a tax table. We're now going to introduce you to something new, and that's this thing behind me, and it's called a monthly or an annual deduction table. Okay, a tax deduction table. Now, folks, if you go to the SARS website, and the SARS website's quite simple, okay? It's just www.sars.co.za, and you have to put the .co.za because it's South Africa, right? South African Revenue Services, sars.co.za. And if you page through that wonderful website, you'll come across the different ways that they charge you tax. And one of the instruments you can use is this thing called a tax deduction table. Now, it's very simple to use. It really, really is. Okay? And I'm going to show it to you. Let's have a look at this question. Use a monthly deduction table, or in this case, this is the annual deduction table, so it shouldn't say monthly. The annual deduction table to determine the monthly tax or the annual tax that a 66-year-old will pay if he earns a taxable salary of 164,000 Rand a year. Okay, so we have a dear old soul who's 66 years old. Okay, and nowadays 66 is not really old, is it? Eh?
Yeah,
I suppose for you it sounds very old.
Yeah, that's like 3 times my age. Already.
All right, for my wife it's just around the corner. But anyway, so yeah, we have a dear old soul, 66 years old, and they earning an annual taxable salary of 164,000 Rand. How much tax are they going to pay? Well, if you go to the SARS website and you come across this deduction table, all you've got to do is you've just got to scroll down the pages, see how much you earn, and run your finger across. Now, I must apologize. This table is so detailed with so many figures, right, that when I captured a page of it and stuck it on the notes, unfortunately it's come out very small, so your eyes aren't quite good, so I'm going to talk you through it. Okay, let's have a look here. So we're told that this dear old soul, 66 years old, earns 164,000. Now over here, this word here is called remuneration, and remuneration basically means the amount of money that I'm going to earn, or my taxable salary. Okay, so we got a 66-year-old who earns 164,000. So along here, we've got a whack of figures, right? Now, please remember, and I've got to state this, all I've done here is I've just captured a portion of that table. But this table just scrolls down and down and down and down. It just carries on for freaking ever. I've just got a little bit of it, okay? So I'm going to look for 164,000 Rand a year. Now, over here, I've got 163,910 Rand, or 40 Rand, all the way to 164 Rand. In other words, guys, this is where I'm looking. Now, I know you can't see this very clearly, and I do apologize for this, but let's have a look. So if I were to do a line all the way across here, I'm going to be able to calculate how much tax I need to pay every year. Now, you will see that this is broken up into 3 parts. Persons under the age of 65, persons 65 to 74, and persons over the age of 75. Our dear soul is 66 years old. So we are going to look at this column down here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to run my finger across, run my finger down, and see where the two clash. And that's going to tell me what tax I'm going to pay. Now, these deduction tables, I'm not sure why they still like this, but they show something called site tax and pay as you earn. Okay, then it gives you the total of your site and pay as you earn. Well, fuck, don't worry about site tax. Okay, we don't charge. We don't go into site tax as individual taxpayers. We're just worrying about the pay as you earn. Okay, so here we go, and pay as you earn stops at this figure, 11,992 rand. So this person pays 11,992 rand a year tax. If I'm wanting to know how much does this person pay every month, Lloyd, what would I do?
You just follow the line across. See.
No, we did that already. You just divide by, you see, math's cool. You divide by 12, okay? If that's my annual tax, my monthly, you see, I'm catching Lloyd out. I know he's falling asleep over there, so he's got to watch it, all right. Okay, so we divide that by 12, and that'll tell me my monthly tax. So let's do that. I'm going to say I had 11,992, divide that by 12, and we get an answer then of 999 Rand and 33 cents. So that's what the person's going to pay every month. Now, guys, I want to say this to you, that this is such an easy way of calculating your tax, because all you're doing is you're just looking at a table, right? And all you're doing is saying, that's how much I earn, that's my age, where do the two meet? How wonderful and how basic is that? So one of the advantages of using a deduction table like this is that it's so simple to use. But here's one of the disadvantages. One of the disadvantages is this. If you look at this, it doesn't give me a specific salary. It gives me a range. So it's saying if I earn between 163,940 a year up to 164,239 Rand a year. So it's giving me a range of salaries and saying in between there, this is the approximate tax you're going to pay. Okay? It's very close to the real figure, but it's just a few cents out, maybe. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to do this again, but we're not going to use the deduction table. We're now going to use the tax table like we learnt about last week. So let's have a look at this. So here's our tax table. We've got our different tax brackets, we've got our annual taxable income, and then we have our rate of tax. Now, we said our person earns 164,000 Rand a year. That falls into this category number 2, because 164,000 lies between 160,001 Rand and 250,000 Rand. Now, folk, I would strongly advise that I'm not going to spend too long explaining all this, because we did this last week. And there's a way to find last week's program on the web, isn't there?
Yeah.
So they can actually download the whole movie, of starring Wah, okay, and see that whole show again, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure they can, yeah.
Yeah, they
I'll
can,
look
in
into
fact.
it, yeah.
I know they can. All right. So, all you need to do is go to all the live shows. You pick up last week's, which was the 31st of July, okay? Click on that, and you can watch the whole show of tax if you missed it. And I hope you're not missing some of these shows, because it's good stuff. All right. So, we're earning 164,000. So if I'm earning 164,000, according to my table, I've got to pay an amount of 28,800 Rand up front, plus 25% of every rand above 160,000. Now, if I've got 164,000, and I want to know how much more is that than 160,000, well, sure, I'm scared to ask this call guy, but let's try anyway. How am I going to work out how much more 164,000 is than 160,000?
You're going to subtract the one from the other.
Absolutely, hey? Brilliant. Okay. You see, this is mathslit stuff that the call guy's learning. Right. So 164,000 minus 160,000 gives me 4,000. So I know I've got to find 25% of 4,000 rand. So we're going to have 28,000 rand 800, okay, plus what? Plus 25% of 4,000, which is 1,000 rand, equals, add those up, and we get an amount of 29,800 rand. Okay, so that's the tax we got to pay, but, oops, and it's not here. I cannot believe this is not here. I've made a terrible error. You've got to subtract the rebate. Now remember, if you go to last week's show, there was a table underneath that said the rebate is. And unfortunately, our producer's forgotten to put that rebate table on. But it was somewhere around the figure of 11,440 rand, which every single person gets deducted off their tax, minus some more. And I can't quite remember. I think it was 2,980, if I remember correctly. So if I was under the age of 65, the tax man said, you know what, I'm going to give you a gift. And the gift is worth 11,440 rand. If you're over the age of 65, I'm going to give you more of a gift. I'm going to give you another 2,980 rand. If you're over the age of 75, sure, now we're really getting old. It's like my mother-in-law. Eh? Okay, all right. If you're really old and over the age of 75, we're going to give you some more discount on your tax. But what we would then do is we'd say, right, out comes our calculator, and our calculator said that we owed the tax man how much? 29,800. 29,800, but we're going to get a rebate of 11,440, and we're going to get another rebate of 2,980 rand, and then my tax is going to be 15,380 rand. 15,380 rand. Now, guys, I'm really sorry I didn't have this rebate table, because I really wanted to show you how it works. But basically, when we get that answer and we get our previous answer, you're going to find that they're almost identical. They're just a few cents out. And why are they a few cents out? Because my deduction table looked at a range of salaries, whereas my tax table, you can calculate the exact amount of tax you're going to pay to the cent. Okay, but there's a disadvantage with the tax table, and the disadvantage is, sure, you got this whole calculation to do, whereas the other one, you just read two figures and saw where they crossed each other. Okay, hope that's kind of made some sort of sense to you. Cool. Are there any questions while I look at our next question?
There actually was a question. Zungu Brian posted, if he is above 75, my tax rebate will be primary plus secondary and plus tertiary rebate, or does he just take, or is it just the tertiary rebate?
Okay, nice question, guys. Absolutely wonderful question. It depends on what your tax rebate says. Okay, normally your tax rebate will say a primary rebate, so much, secondary rebate, an additional so much, okay, and a tertiary rebate, an additional so much. Let me show you. So it could say your primary, oops, let me write that nicely, okay, your primary rebate is, let's say, 11,440 rand. Your secondary rebate is another 2,980 rand, and then we get something called our tertiary rebate, which is like for the real old folk, okay, for the mother-in-laws, right? Then they get a further amount of, let's say, I don't know, 1,450. I don't have the figures on hand. But that, and it would say an additional, okay? Because they get extra deduction. Now, what can happen is this. Let me get a different color. Why? Because I want it. Here we go. What can happen is this. They might not say an additional 2,980. They might just go and say it's going to be 13,400 Rand, let's say. So, and then this one, they might say it's 15,600. So, sorry, who asked the question?
It was Zungu Brian.
Zungu. Okay, so Zungu, thanks for writing in, by the way, and I really hope we're answering your question here. But Zungu, basically, if it says an additional amount of, then you're going to add it. Okay? But if it just gives you a higher set of figures, right? So this, remember these guys, the old folk get the biggest tax rebate, right? So they're going to get 15,600 off. These guys will get 13,400. And all the young guys, younger than 65, will only get 11,440 Rand rebate. Okay, so if this figure here is a smaller figure than that, then obviously you're going to have to add. And then, if that's even smaller, add again. All right, I hope I answered your question. But normally, like I said, it would say an additional amount. All right. Cool. Anything else?
That's all the questions for now.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Looks like everyone's understanding it.
Oh, good. That's always a good sign as a teacher if everyone understands. Either that or everyone's fallen asleep, one of the two. Okay, right. Let's look at a phenomenal topic, and that's this whole thing of exchange rates. Let's have a look at the question behind me. So with all the money Mr. Templeton, that's now me, okay, with all the money Mr. Templeton got from selling the grade 12 final maths lit examination paper, he decides to take his family across to Orlando in the United States. The times indicated is the actual time at the mentioned airport. Now, I hope you can see this timetable because I kid you not, this is the real timetable that I will be following on Sunday when we go off to the States. Okay, here it is. So we're going to be leaving Johannesburg International Airport. I don't know, can you see that? I'm sure you can see it on your screen. Maybe the producer can tell me if he can see it or not. Okay, he's not saying anything. All right. So... yeah, they say they can see it. Okay, cool. So at 7:15, we're going to take off from Johannesburg OR Tambo Airport. We're flying with Lufthansa. Okay, it says business class. Hate to break the news to my family, but we're not flying business class. Okay, we're going economy, squashed up at the back. Right, so here we go. We leave at 7:15. We arrive at 6:10 the next morning. Then we sit on the airport for 7 hours and 50 minutes. Okay, looking at each other. Then we take off at 2 from Frankfurt and we fly into Orlando and we land at 6:15. Now guys, this is an interesting little concept, but please, it's not something we're discussing in today's lesson. We discussed it in one of the other lessons before this. But just take note, we're leaving at 2 in the afternoon, we arrive at 6:15. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's 4 hours and 35 minutes. But the timetable says we're flying for 10 hours, 35 minutes. So we've lost 6 hours somewhere. Okay? And why is that? Because America is 6 hours, or Orlando is 6 hours behind Frankfurt. Okay? So when we take off, my son's going to say, oh, Dad, this is such a short flight. It's only 4 hours and 35 minutes. I'm going to take his watch and set it back 6 hours, okay? And say, well, actually, kid, it's not 20 to 2. It's only 20 to 10 in the morning, 20 to 8 in the morning. Let's just keep going. All right. But this is what we must look at. When we look at this, when we come back, we're coming back on the, it had the time over here, or the date, I think it did. Yeah, here we go. On the Tuesday, the 2nd. But we're leaving on Sunday, the 10th of August, coming back Tuesday, the 2nd of September. Now, why is that important? Let's look at this question. Traveling abroad requires passengers to get currency for the country that they'll be traveling to. With the knowledge that $1 is equal to 11 Rand 55, determine how much it'll cost, round it to the nearest Rand, to get enough dollars if the family of 3 each intend to have $35 spending money for every day they'll spend in Orlando, including both the day they arrive in and depart from Orlando. There are 31 days in August. Right. So, family of 3, off we go to Orlando. We're saying, right, there are certain costs. We've got to have a place to stay. We've got to have some food. And from me, you can see food's important, Lloyd. Okay?
It's a priority.
It's a priority, absolutely. Okay, we get food and then we look for a place to stay. Right, so got to have a place to stay, got to have some food. And you know what? It'll be nice to visit 1 or 2 places. And because I'm doing so much mathematical literacy research, I've got to drive from one place to another. So I'll be hiring a car, and of course, that costs petrol and everything else. So we've said, let's look at a budget of approximately $35 a day. Now, I have no idea if that's going to be enough or not. We might be sleeping on the pavement. But nevertheless, $35 per person per day, right? So, how much is that going to cost me in South African rands? Ish. Let's work it out. So the first thing we know is this, that I am going to spend $35 per person.
Well, before we work this out, do you mind if we just take a quick break?
My giddy aunt. Okay, let's take a break then. I seem to
guys.
take a break.
Guys, sorry, it's getting a bit tiring for my maths core brain, you know.
I understand.
So guys, keep tuned, take a little break, and we'll catch you back right after the break. Welcome back, grade 10 mindset learners, to this beautiful Thursday night. We're doing Maths Lit here with Peter. And guys, remember, you can still win this Casio Calculator. We'll be announcing a winner at the end of the show. All you have to do is get over to the link on our page. It's on our page. There's the notes link and the test yourself question link right next to it. Enter the curio code, and you could be walking away with this brand new Casio Calculator. But without further ado, Peter, take it away.
Right, Lloyd. That was very nice of Lloyd to welcome back all our grade 10 learners. I'd like to welcome back all our grade 12 learners. All right, during the ad break, I learned that Lloyd can sing. So just now he's going to hand over to me in a singing kind of way.
Probably shouldn't have divulged that information.
You shouldn't have divulged that, but you have. And so guys, hang in there. We are in for a great treat just now when Lloyd sings goodbye to us. Okay. Before the ad break, I was rudely interrupted and told we've got to take an ad break, but we were looking at what would happen on this trip if a family of 3 goes overseas and decides they're going to spend $35 a day, or have a budget of $35 a day. Okay, so we've got $35. We know that each dollar is worth 11 Rand and 55 cents. Agreed? So how many dollars does one person need a day? So $35, what's that in rands? 35 times 11.55, okay, equals, and we work it to 404 Rand 25 cents. So 404 Rand and 25 cents is needed per day, per person, so that they can have a place to stay, or in my case, some food to eat and a place to stay. All right, 404 Rand 25 cents. Now, guys, there are 3 people going. So it's not 404 Rand 25 for that family. It's 404 Rand 25 for the one member of that family. If they're 3, we got to multiply that by 3. So let's do that. So we've got the 404.25. We're going to multiply it by 3, and we're going to land up with an answer. I'm just going to try and get rid of this little weird line that I've drawn here. Okay, so what are we going to land up with? We're going to take out our calculator and say we got 404.25, multiply that by 3, and we're going to get an answer now of 1,212 Rand 75. 1,212 Rand 75 cents is what the family need every day. Now, how many days is the family staying there? Now, I want to tell you a little secret. Here's my secret. I gave this very question to my grade 12s in their prelim paper 2. Because I wanted to know, do they understand exchange rates and can they read from a table? Many of them made this mistake. They saw here there are 31 days in August, and so presumed that the family was staying in America for 31 days. Now, that's not true at all. Why is that not true? That's not true because they're leaving on the 10th of August or leaving South Africa on the 10th of August, and they are arriving on leaving Orlando again on the 2nd of September. Let's read what the question says. It says, how much spending money for every day will they spend in Orlando, including both the day they arrive in Orlando and the day they depart? So let's have a look here now. Out comes our timetable. Now, we leave Johannesburg on the 10th of August. We arrive the following day. It says there plus 1 day. So we are arriving on the 11th of August. Okay? So, Lloyd, you can think of me next Monday, arriving in Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But we'll be arriving, American time, 6:15. So, 12:15. In Tuesday morning, we'll be in Orlando. 12:15, early hours of the morning. So, I will phone you at 12:15.
Okay, wake me up.
Wake you up. I'll wake you up, and it'll only be, the sun will still be up in America. It's weird how that works.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, right. So we arrive on the 11th of August, and we're departing on the 2nd of September. How many days is that? Now can you understand why the examiner said that there are 31 days in August? Remember they said that? There are 31 days in August. Because we need that to work out how many days we are got. Now, folks, there is no embarrassment of using your fingers to calculate how many days you're away. Okay? And that's kind of useful because sometimes people make a mistake. So if I were to say to you, I'm leaving on the 2nd and coming back on the 5th, how many days am I gone?
3 days.
3 days. Absolutely wrong. Okay? Why? Because it's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Okay, and so many people make that mistake of just, especially the cool guys, of 5 minus 2 is 3. When we know that the day we leave and the day we arrive, it's got to be included in those days. So let's count together on our fingers. Okay, so we're leaving on the 11th. You ready for this?
I'm ready, I'm ready.
Right, Lloyd's going to try count. So it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 1, 2. How many days?
23.
23 days. Absolutely. Okay. Now, if you had just done a minus sum, you would have actually landed up with 22, and you would have got this wrong. Don't feel embarrassed with using your fingers. Okay. Like these are important little things in my maths life. Okay. In fact, you know that you can do your 9 times table with your fingers.
No, I didn't know that.
Didn't you know that? Let me show you. Okay. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say I want to know 9 threes. Finger number 3 comes down. Okay. 9 threes are 27. Cool.
Impressive.
9 fives are 45. 9 sevens are 63.
Wow.
9 nines are 81. How cool is that? Lloyd?
Did you discover that on a Sunday afternoon, sitting, being bored? What should we work out today?
I wish I could take credit for it, but unfortunately
it would have
I
been
can't.
amazing.
It would have been amazing, okay. But I just find it amazing, okay. You can do all kinds of things. You can even count to 10. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's not go there. Right. So here we go. We've gone for 23 days. Now, folks, if I'm gone for 23 days, I need this amount of money for 23 days. Out comes my calculator. I'm not doing it in my head because my head's too small. Times 23 equals, voila, 27,893. 27,893 rand. And how many cents was it? And 25 cents.
That's a lot of money.
That's a whack load of money, hey? That's scary. For only $35 a day. And like, geez, like, okay. But have we answered the question? The question says quite clearly, round it to the nearest rand. So that rounded off is going to give me 27,893 rand. Sure, that's a lot of money. But what a great question. Now, let's move on and let's look at this whole concept of commission. So off we go. We say to the bank, right, we want to know how much commission are we paying. So here it is. The bank from which the family buy their dollars charge the following rates. The rates for exchanging currency is 57 Rand plus 1.85% of the amount exchanged. Maximum exchange fee of 500 Rand. Show that the family will only pay an exchange fee of 500 Rand in addition to the cost of the dollars. Now, how much was this? 27,893. Will you remember that, Lloyd? Because I won't, hey?
Okay.
27,893. Let's go. All right. So we said it's going to be 27,893. I didn't even need you. You see,
Yes.
we don't need maths core, guys. It's just maths lit. Right. So that's the amount of money, but we've got to find 1.85% of that. So I'm going to multiply that by 1.85%. Well, I'm not going to. My calculator is. Okay. So 27,000. I've got to clear that because that wasn't rounded. So 27,893 Rand. We're going to multiply that by 1.85%. There's my percent button, equals, and we get 516 Rand. And look at that figure on your screen, folk. 516.0205. Okay? It's rands. Because it's rands, we've got to round to 2 decimal places. Why are we rounding to 2 decimal places? Do you know why?
Because you only have 100 cents.
Absolutely, hey? The core guy knows something here. All right, so you only got 100 cents, so we're going to round it to 100th place. So it's 516 Rand
And 2 cents.
and 2 cents. Okay? Now, is that the commission I'm going to pay? No, because there's a further amount I've got to add on to that. And the amount I've got to charge is another 57 Rand. Yes, like they're making money out of us. So we're going to add another 57 Rand to that. So out comes this calculator, and we're going to say, cool. We got 516 Rand and 2 cents. We're going to add 57 Rand, and we're going to get an answer then of 573 Rand and 2 cents. 573 Rand and 2 cents. Right. Lloyd, you agree that's the commission I'm paying?
Yep. No.
You nearly fell for it. Absolutely not. Why not, Lloyd?
Because there's a maximum exchange fee of 500 Rand.
This nice banker saying, you know what? Because we like you, we're not going to charge more than 500 Rand. So anything above 500 Rand, you just need to pay 500 Rand. So it's 573 Rand and 2 cents. No. It's only going to cost 500 Rand. That's the only commission you are going to pay. All right. I think we got, what's it, about 4 minutes to do our challenge question.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to talk quickly. Okay. So here's our challenge question. Scott wants to exchange 5,000 Rand into US dollars. He discovers that there's a exchange bureau charges 1.3%. All right? And there's an exchange rate of 10 Rand 80. That's what it was earlier today. So 1.3% commission, 10 Rand 80. He's got 5,000 Rand. So off Scott goes. He says, here's my 5,000 Rand. I want some dollars. Cool? And they say, well, do you know you're going to pay commission? He says, well, I've got no other money. Check, my pockets are empty. I've got nothing. All I've got is the 5,000 Rand. So they say, don't worry. We will include your commission in that 5,000 Rand. So what do we have to do? Well, the first thing is this. We know we've got 5,000 Rand. Now, do you remember, my goodness, my 5 went all funny there. Should we get rid of it? Let's try this again. Okay. We know 5,000 Rand, that has got to include the commission. So we're going to take the commission off. Now, do you remember right in the beginning of the lesson, we looked at what happens if a price includes the VAT. And we want to know what is that price before the VAT was added. And then we multiply it by that magic fraction of 100 over 114. Do you remember? Now the same principle applies here. We want to know how much did the dollars cost me before I added the commission. So we're going to take that commission off. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to multiply it by 100 over. Now we're not going to multiply it by 140 over 114 because it's not 14%. It's 1,3%. So we're going to divide it by 101,3. Sure, that's tough stuff, eh? So let's go. Out comes the calculator, and we say we've got 5,000 rand. Multiplying that by 100 over 101.3 equals, and there's our answer, 4,935 rand 83 cents. Will you remember that? Cool. 4,900 and what?
35,
Cool. And
83 cents.
hey, the call boy is okay. All right. So that's how much money we can use for our dollar. The rest of it went to pay the commission. Got it? Okay. So let's now work this out. Looking at that, we're now going to divide this by the amount of dollars, right? And what was it? It was 10 Rand 80. So we're going to say divide that by 10 Rand 80 because every dollar cost me 10 Rand 80. So we've got this figure on our calculator, and we've just got to put the correct one because we rounded it, 4935.83. We're going to divide that by 10 Rand 80, and we get an answer of 457,02. 457,02. But remember, the Exchange Bureau don't give coins. They only give notes. So they're only going to give me $457 for my 5,000 Rand. How
Thievery.
depressing is that, hey?
Thievery. Stealing 2 cents.
Bad news. Okay. Folk, it's been great having you. I'm going to be gone for the next 4 weeks. You'll be left in the capable hands of John. Have a wonderful time. Keep revising. Work hard. Your prelims are coming up.
Cool, guys. Thanks so much for the lesson, Peter. Guys, we've got a winner of this Casio calculator. Austin and Zama Sharinda, well done. You've walked away with this brand new Casio calculator. Guys, for all the rest of you guys who want to win this calculator, tune into the next live show tomorrow. Or not tomorrow.
Monday.
There actually is no show tomorrow. It's Monday to Thursday next week. But until then, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Lloyd. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.